So, it's been a while. I'm sure you've all been wondering where I've been, and I'll tell you just that. I was on a break, kind of. I don't know how to explain it to... I also did a ton of procrastination, so I wanted to make a more simple video, and I just want to give you some general art tips I've learned over the years. I don't want it to be all specific and stuff because, like, I'm still learning too. I just want beginners to get something from this, but I know anyone can get anything from this, so let's draw with me. Oh yeah, this video was written in late September. As of recording this, it's late December, during or after Christmas, so yeah. Also, sorry for the massive hiatus or whatever you want to call it at this point. Also, I'm recording this while I'm somewhat sick, so that's fun. Let's start with the Rio. What are you drawing? I got inspired by the Starfish Face who did this section in one of her videos, and I really liked the idea of it. What I'm drawing is my OC Dante, who I will ramble about in another video. I decided to draw him in his high school graduation photos since I imagined he looked really damn depressed and pissed off in it. I also just really wanted to draw him. He's also my favorite OC of mine, and I cannot wait to create a video rambling on and on about him. And I also have some other OCs that I'll ramble on about. I was planning to put this advice at the end, but I really think it needs to be said now. You should just draw. Don't say that you have to wait for your art to be good enough to draw something. Of course your art won't be that good when you draw something for the very first time. It's normal, so don't you stress about it. I could have started doing digital art way more seriously much more earlier, but I thought my art skills weren't good enough, so I waited till like early 2020 or so. And obviously we all know what happened that year, so I basically spent every waking moment drawing and drawing, trying to improve. You need to just draw. You shouldn't wait, because waiting and waiting isn't going to help in my opinion. I know damn well that my back-facing art is pretty bad, but I'm still trying. You probably saw this one YouTube short I posted a while back where Dante was in a back view. Needless to say, that video got somewhat popular-ish, at least for my tiny baby channel, mostly because of his ass, but we won't talk about that. That art was just me experimenting and trying a more complicated pose. More on experimentation later, by the way. Practice does not make perfect. It makes progress, and I'm currently practicing how to build bodies and how to draw the heads and hair. I still have a lot of a tough time trying to hype myself up to draw something more complicated, but at some point, I do need to draw it. I need to just do it. If you want to try drawing something new, then you should. You really should, because even if it's a shit sketch, it's progress. I promise, in years' time or even months' time, you might have lots of fun drawing something you thought was pretty hard to draw before you drew it for the first time. Hell, I find back views pretty fun sometimes, even if I'm absolute dog shit at drawing them. You can't improve if you just don't draw it. You need to step out of your comfort zone sometimes, which is something I should be telling myself a lot as well. The art I'm making in the background is something that is stepping out of my own comfort zone. I don't make usually moody or sad art, and this art was hell for me because I spent so long procrastinating. I had to have 3 separate speed paints of separate parts because of procrastination. This video was heavily procrastinated too. So don't be like me. Draw. You can't lay in that bed all day. Gotta get up, pick up that pencil or pen, and draw some dumb shit. It'll be worth the wrist pain. Trust me. Drawing may be annoying sometimes, but you gotta practice. Art isn't something that only a select few people can learn. Anyone can learn it. It just takes time, effort, and dedication. Don't treat art like some magic or macabre language that only demons from the underworld know. So yeah, keep drawing. Pretend you're married to that pen or pencil. Keep on going. Now on to the next art tip I have for you. Criticism is always welcome, sure, but you can just not listen to it. If something doesn't fit with your style, then it doesn't fit with your style, simple as that. Now, I'm not saying to shut down or deny any and all criticism and say that is a personal attack against you and your art, because that's not the case. Some of it is harsh, yeah, trust me. I've heard some stories about really harsh art teachers in my lifetime. I haven't personally experienced that myself, but it sounds not great. Criticism is meant to be helpful, but sometimes it won't help you. Sometimes people don't have great criticisms of your art, and that's okay. They're just trying to help you after all. So don't tell them that you're not going to listen to the advice, because that's just plain rude. Just be polite and say thank you. And not taking advice from others doesn't mean you're a bad artist or person anyway. If that's the case, this wouldn't be part of the video at all. There is an asterisk to this though, or catch, whatever you want to call it. The advice that you ignore might be really helpful. So sometimes when you get that advice, before throwing it all away, just look over it a bunch of times and don't just say, how should I improve? Because 90% of the time, people are gonna spout out a bunch of advice that's not specific on what you want help on. That's okay for general advice, but if you want to improve on something specific, like your anatomy, then go into what you need help on. It's like asking your math teacher for help on the work and not showing them the math problem you're confused about. That teacher is gonna be so lost, just like the people who are trying to help you improve your art. You should always think about the advice given to you before applying it to your own art. Ask yourself if it fits with your art style, or is it something that you already feel comfortable with and feel you don't need improvement with it. And make sure to always take note of the advice and try it out. It's good to try the advice beforehand just to get a good feel at it, maybe even practice it a couple times just to be sure. Criticism isn't always something you can put into your art immediately. It takes practice just like everything else. I don't think this is said very much. I've only ever seen this tip in a Good Gifts video. By the way, you should really go check him out. I could always just pull up the clip from his video and call it a day, but nah. Basically, you need to stick with one tool. What I mean by that is when you pick an art program, you have to marry that art program. Make sure you're comfortable with it and stay dedicated to it, especially when it's an expensive art program like Photoshop or Paint. The best way to start is with a simple cheap art program and stay dedicated to it until you move up to the big boys. I have an entire video on 3 free art programs, so you should check it out after this. I started off with OBS Paint X and used that for 2 years or so. I think 4, but I can't remember much. After OBS Paint X, I moved up to Procreate and used my iPad instead of my teensy weensy phone. Procreate is like $10, so I think any artist should shell out $10 for it because it's really good. And it's a one-time purchase, so that's even better. After Procreate, I moved to Paint, and it's my favorite art program, hands down. I'm not gonna get too much into it because I don't want to, and maybe a future video, I can focus on how much I love Clip Studio. So when you're on the hunt for art programs and find one, use it! Don't abandon it. You need to use it or you just shell out a bunch of money on an art software you hate. So don't start off with a monster like Photoshop. This advice will also apply to drawing hardware, aka drawing tablets. Hell, you can draw on your phone, which is what I started off with personally. And still remember to be open to other art programs you can use. You can divorce an art program if you found one that's better after using the old one for a few years. I divorced OBS Paint X after like 3 or 4 years, and that's okay. Sure, that program might be crying right now, but why should I care when you're locking a bunch of features behind a subscription service? You can barely change your canvas size for an animation in the damn thing. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, stick to one tool. And please don't start off with Photoshop, that shit is expensive. Don't let your art get stale and experiment with it. I sure as hell know my art can get stale because I draw the same 2 characters all the time sometimes. In fact, the character I'm drawing in the background of this video is a character I draw all the damn time. At least I used to. That was the case as of writing this video. So make sure to step out your comfort zone and practice where it hurts. I know things can be rough to practice sometimes, but that's okay. Things in art are always complicated, and you know what's something that seems easy but is actually really tough? The peace sign hand pose. Easy to pick up, hard to master. You know what's even harder to learn? Perspective. But you still need to learn it throughout all the complications because perspective is one of the utmost importance in art. Because if it's off, then everything else can look off in the drawing. I know it's a pain in the ass to draw, I get it. I'm trying to practice perspective as well, but you gotta throw yourself into it at some point. Because one day that thing you struggle with and never practice will bite you in the ass and come at you like a fastball. Especially when a specific drawing requires a basic understanding of it. Want to draw a character that's looking down at the camera? You need an understanding of perspective for that. And if you don't, then you sure as hell are gonna screw up that drawing. So make sure that all your art is different from each other because nobody wants to see the same drawing over and over again on your feed. Gotta have some variety, some taste, some spice if you will. Custom art prompts help a lot too because they're randomized obviously. I know coming up with art ideas and ideas in general is hard, I get it. But make sure that it isn't all the same. Did you do backgrounds all week? Try character art for another week. Did you do emotes for another week? Try realistic art for another, and so on and so forth. Obviously, you don't have to make an entire schedule for this stuff, but having different kinds of art each week is something you could always do. Variety is always a good thing to have in your art. Please, please, please don't belittle yourself, because at the end of the day, that doesn't make you cool or chill, it just makes you look hella insecure about your work, and I don't think you want that, do you? If you think your art sucks, then why should anybody else like your art? I think it's fine to say that you wish your art will be as good as someone else's would day, because that's not necessarily belittling yourself and saying that your art sucks. sucks, but saying that your art is horrible and it won't be as good as someone else's makes it really awkward for the person you're trying to compliment. Because your work doesn't suck. Your work is amazing and you will never be perfect at art. I bet the best artist in the world with the most followers still sucks at drawing circles in one go. I think there's a website you can try and make the most accurate circle. It's really fun and my best is 97.6%. I bet you can't beat me because I cheated. I mean, fairly used my drawing tablet to make my circles because it's easier than using my phone, which I forgot how to draw on. I made an entire video remaking my old comics, which was a pretty fun video actually. I found it amazing how much I improved at making artwork. My art style was completely different and I loved comparing my art. Comparing my old and new art is something I do pretty often. I do yearly summaries because I think they've been raising my confidence in art. You should do it too. It's way better than belittling yourself, trust me. Belittling yourself is telling you and everybody that your art sucks, and that's far from the truth. So please, don't say that your art sucks. It doesn't make you cool, doesn't make you hip, and it doesn't make you look confident. The opposite, in fact. Special thanks to Shootle Animations, Steven and Connie Lover, Hitomi, and Toast0168 for this wonderful fan art on screen right now. And I appreciate the art you've made for me. Any and all art of my OCs is much appreciated. And thanks to you for coming to the end of this video. I hope all of these tips help you in the long run, and if you have any more tips for people to follow, then put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear other tips and feedback from the community. I'm sorry for sounding absolutely horrible in this video. I'm pretty sick right now and very tired because it's like 1 in the morning as of recording this. Anyways, I'm Rio Doodles. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!